Shedeur Sanders is back in the news, folks. Lots of people that I'm going to guess you've heard of are chiming in about the quarterback. First, it's a former Steelers quarterback that roasted Shedeur Sanders. He took a shot. We're going to look at that. ESPN's Mike Greenberg commented on Cleveland's draft and their quarterback situation as well. Then we're going to take a look at something Dan Campbell said about the Browns defense. And finally, we've got Browns injury updates that you're not going to want to miss for Week 4. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue. Welcome into the Browns Report. The first topic we're getting to is Terry Bradshaw. This is the former Steelers quarterback I mentioned who roasted Shedeur Sanders. He said, "Why is the fifth rounder getting all this attention? Why? You tell me. I wouldn't have taken Shedeur. Let somebody else have that problem." My first response to you, Terry Bradshaw, is just F the Steelers. F them. Like, you're going to say something bad about the Browns no matter what because you were a Pittsburgh Steeler. F the Steelers in the chat. But what an idiotic thing to say overall anyway. What do you mean let somebody else have that problem? What's the problem? There's nothing bad that Shedeur's done, and there's potential that he could be good for the Cleveland Browns franchise. I don't know where Bradshaw gets off saying this. First of all, Shedeur Sanders' box office. Preseason numbers were through the roof because Shedeur Sanders was playing. He's adding fans to the Cleveland Browns, adding jersey sales, ticket sales. That's absolutely not an issue. So my question to him is, what is your issue with Shedeur? He hasn't said anything. He hasn't really been too vocal since being drafted. He's kind of taken his reps. He said that his scout team reps are his game day. He's sitting on the sidelines. He's learning, and he's being grateful. What's the issue with having Shedeur in Cleveland? And then from an analytical standpoint, he was projected to be a first-round quarterback. Many thought he would be the first quarterback taken in the NFL draft. So there's also a chance that Cleveland has a guy that could help them in the future, help be the guy going forward, and all he's doing is sitting patiently third on the quarterback depth chart. I don't know where he's getting off saying this, and I tell him, leave him alone until we see him play. I don't know why Bradshaw went ahead and said, let somebody else have that problem. It's rude. I'd expect nothing less from a former Steeler, and I would tell him, just relax, man. Wait till Shedeur gets out there and proves all the haters wrong when he goes out and balls out. And if he doesn't, then you can have some fair criticism of him if he goes out there and played bad consistently. But he played great in preseason week 1. You have no business roasting him and saying that he's a bad player to have in Cleveland. We haven't even seen him play, and he's done nothing to you. Browns fans, I realized I didn't even get to ask you this question because I wasn't here at Chat Sports during the NFL draft. But how did you feel? Were you happy when the Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders? When that name got called in the 5th round, what was your immediate reaction? I want to know. If you were happy, type Y for yes. If you weren't, type N for no. I'm curious where your heads were at. I was actually excited. I thought it was a steal that he fell all the way late to us in the 5th. All right, next topic. Mike Greenberg, maybe you've heard of Greeny of ESPN. He had some thoughts about Cleveland's quarterback situation. He just said this yesterday to ESPN Cleveland. And he says, I am a believer in Shedeur. There was not one draft analyst who said this guy can't play at all. Not one. I did nothing but look at quarterbacks and all the rest of the guys. There was not one person. Go back and find me one draft analyst who had Dillon Gabriel rated ahead of Shedeur Sanders. So I personally am confounded. He's right. This is what I've been saying. And again, it's nothing against Gabriel. I like both rookies in Cleveland at the moment. But leading up to the draft, that is a factual statement that every single analyst had Shedeur Sanders rated ahead of Dillon Gabriel. So how did this happen? Why did he fall? I've never thought it had to do with Shedeur's talent. A lot of reports were saying they didn't like his pre-draft interviews. Maybe they didn't want to deal with his dad. Shedeur also declined a couple teams like the Ravens and the Eagles. A lot of stuff went into it. I never thought it was about his football ability. And you look at Cleveland's depth chart right now, they not only drafted Gabriel ahead of Shedeur, but they assessed both of them in preseason and camp and practice and named Dillon Gabriel the backup going forward. So inevitably, when it's Joe Flacco's time to pass the torch, Gabriel will be next in line. And then Gabriel will have, I'm guessing, a 4 to 6 game leash where he can show us what he can do. If he's not good, Shedeur's next up. We see number 12 later in the season. But it's bizarre that he fell in the first place. Don't you remember it being the biggest story of the NFL draft during the offseason? Everyone has their theories. We won't get back into those, but a lot of people were mad about it, confused about it, you name it. Emotions were tied to it. It was a bizarre situation like we've never seen a quarterback projected to go first overall in certain mock drafts falling to the 5th round, not injury related at all. And you should trust Greeny and me when I say that there's going to be quarterbacks that have talent. You know who else we both were high on? Baker Mayfield. I'm serious. Look at some old Greeny clips. He was hyping up Baker Mayfield. I've got text receipts texting all my friends saying Baker's going to be a top 10 quarterback one day. And then I said, please, Cleveland, do not get rid of him. And they didn't listen to me. They let Baker go. Here we are. He is a top 10 quarterback. But we won't dwell on the past, folks. I'm excited to see both of our rookies play, and I'm hoping we'll see both this season. Like I said, they're going to move on from Flacco eventually. The offense has not been good at all. And we've got Gabriel and Shedeur waiting on the sidelines to get in. I'm excited to get a chance to see them both. Some new, fresh aura in Cleveland. Some guys that are a little bit more mobile. Because you look at Cleveland's passing stats so far this season, it's not great. What's really interesting is their pass play percentage is first in the NFL. So they call passing plays more often than any other team. They just suck at it. Because yards per pass, they're dead last. 5 yards per pass. Flacco's not taking shots down the field, and when he does, it's picked off. He's tied second in the league in interceptions. He's already thrown 4, and he's fumbled the ball. This is only through 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, Cleveland's 24th in completion percentage, towards the back half of the league in that stat as well. So it's clearly the pass game and the offensive line that's screwing over Cleveland. We need a quarterback. We've got 2 young ones waiting to get their opportunity. That's at least something to be excited about going forward, unless Cleveland does the whole quarterback plays bad and we just keep playing him like they did with Deshaun Watson. I don't think that's going to be the case with Flacco. They're not paying Flacco $200 million. He's here for a year, and he's 40 years old. They know he's not their guy for the future. But we've got 2 that I would evaluate right now if I were Cleveland, so that you know what you have going into next year's NFL draft. Up next on the show, an update you're not going to want to miss, because Greeny had some more to say about the Cleveland Browns draft class in 2025, and I have a feeling you're going to like it, Browns fans. We also have some major Browns injury updates for you. You're not going to want to miss that. And you're also not going to miss a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. And honestly, I'm just so happy that football is back. Browns football specifically, coming off a big win against the Packers. All is right with the world. And I'm big into daily fantasy with PrizePicks. I'm obsessed with it because it makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. And PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. I've got a lineup for this week once again. Couple rival teams, but I'm going Sam Darnold, more than half a passing touchdown, and Aaron Rodgers, more than half a passing touchdown. The Seahawks are hot, and Rodgers has done that 3 weeks in a row. PrizePicks also giving us an awesome deal where you can get Jalen Hurts more than half a passing yard. I believe he's done that every single start that he's had. And then I've got to put a Cleveland Brown in my lineup. Quinshon Judkins, give me him more than 58.5 rushing yards. He's done that in both his starts. If you want to follow me, try to make some money, you can download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Here is what ESPN's Mike Greenberg had to say on the Browns and Jaguars draft day trade. Said, absolutely, I think that trade the Browns made with the Jags could wind up looking like one of the better trades we've seen in recent NFL memory. That Jaguars pick could end up being top 10 as well. Let's flash back to draft day, folks, as we have been already here on the show. This was the deal Cleveland made with Jacksonville. They gave up the number 2 overall pick that the Browns had going into the draft. And like I said, some mock drafts had that pick being Shedeur Sanders, funny enough. That ended up being Travis Hunter in Jacksonville. And, of course, Cleveland gave up a couple late-round picks as well. Bashul Tootin, the running back, and Raywan Lane, who you've never heard of and might never hear of again because he's irrelevant. Mason Graham, number 5, Michigan man, went to Cleveland, and he's been a run stuffer. He's been a beast for the Browns so far. He even got half a sack last week, first of the year. Quinshawn Judkins ended up being Cleveland's 36th overall pick, another impact rookie that's immediately come in and taken over Cleveland's backfield. They got Dillon Sampson out of it as well. And the Jaguars' 2026 first-round pick, which to Greeny's point, that could end up being a top 10 pick. People don't think the Jags are going to be very good. We fleeced Jacksonville. Folks, it was a little bit shaky on draft day. A lot of people thought, how can you pass on a generational talent like Travis Hunter? Well, Hunter struggled a little bit so far, and every rookie that Cleveland's drafted has been impactful right away, besides the quarterbacks who we're going to get to hopefully later in the season. But Judkins, Sampson, Graham, it's amazing, and the Browns are set up for a good future. They've drafted key impact rookies that can be here for years to come. Add Carson Swessner to that mix. Harold Fannin Jr. Credit Andrew Berry for this draft class. If we have to credit him for something, it's that. Cleveland's got a bright future. Mike Greenberg agreed with it as well. And he also started speculating about the Browns drafting a quarterback next year. But more specifically, he said that's if the 2 guys we have aren't ready to go, which is why I think it's essential to play the rookies this year. I'm not only harping on it because of how bad our offense is, but I'm thinking of my Browns fandom, me wanting the Browns to be good the next few years because of how good their defense is right now. See what we have in that room. Because if you find that Gabriel or Shedeur is your guy this year, well, now you can use that Jaguars top 10 pick to get someone like Caleb Downs or an offensive lineman who we desperately need. So let's figure that out before next year. That's my opinion, at least. But trade was amazing for Cleveland. Grade it in the comments section below. The Browns-Jags draft day trade. You know the grading scale. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Give me a grade. Curious what you guys think now that we've seen it unfold 3 weeks into the season. Injury update for you guys from Daniel Oyefusi. Says perfect attendance at Browns practice today. Let's go, folks. Shelby Harris, Mike Hall Jr., and Denzel Ward all returned on Thursday to practice. This is such good news. Ward popped up on the injury report on Wednesday with a shoulder/toe injury, but he's back. And Oyefusi also said that Denzel Ward, who had missed practice yesterday, will be at practice and plans on playing Sunday. The toe injury occurred against the Packers, but Ward said he's good. Thank goodness we've had a couple mini scares with Denzel Ward's injuries so far, but none of them have been major at all. He's been good to go. We likely will see him against the Lions, and we're really going to need him. An injury update on the Lions side that could help Cleveland is their star tackle Taylor Decker did not practice on Wednesday. We'll wait to see what he does Thursday. Apparently this has been relatively common, though, where Decker doesn't practice or is limited and then plays on game day. But I think it's worth noting because Cleveland has one of the best, if not the best, defensive lines in the league. And if the Lions have any injuries on their O-line, Cleveland's going to get to Goff. They're going to pressure him. And we could potentially pull off another NFC North upset for Cleveland. Lions head coach Dan Campbell also had some remarks on the Browns defense. He said, this defense is for real. This will probably be the best defense we've faced to date. Glad that Coach Campbell is giving the Browns the respect they deserve defensively. Like the video right now if you're hyped about that defense. Go ahead, drop the like, because Cleveland's defense is for real, folks. Everybody's knowing it. They're ranked first in total defense, and NFL teams are finally starting to realize that the Browns' defense is legit, folks. It's the real deal. The defensive line is stacked. Opponents have the fewest yards per game against Cleveland than they do against every other team in the NFL. Their rush defense is ranked first as well. They're second in the league in sacks. Finally, teams are starting to realize it, put it together. Cleveland's got something serious going on. And folks, you're not going to want to miss. I've got a preview coming out for the Browns-Lions game. I'm going to put it up this Saturday. Everything you need to know, the injuries, the analysis, the stats, the keys for the Browns to pull off another upset. make sure your notifications are on because I will be posting that video on Saturday. And subscribe so you can be a part of the party. If you're a diehard Browns fan just like me, we've got some exciting things coming up in Cleveland. So we thank you so much for tuning in, hanging out here with us on the Browns Report, folks, and we will see you very shortly here on the show.